Hi there, Zina Moller here, and I found the full version of my 1996 Olympic gold medal race, which the version I had was, I think, 20 some seconds short. This is some sort of a raw footage, which I'm really excited that I finally found. Um, I want to talk about the race because I think for any younger generation who want to learn about people like me who have achieved our ultimate goal of winning a gold medal, it's a treasure to listen to, and this is why I'm doing it. You can see here I'm the only one in the white boat. That's a Swiss boat. All the other yellow boats are Empachers. My idol was Thomas Lange in lane 3, and that's a name I grew up with as a child. And this fellow here, Derek, won the gold medal at the '92 Olympics in the Canadian 8 as a stroke. So I really don't like waiting for the start. This is I never enjoyed that. Waiting for the race all week long for the heat and the semifinal, it's something I never really liked. So, but once the race is going, all is good. You get to finally move the boat. The week prior to this, I raced the Swiss men's lightweight double scull, and we did handicap racing, and they did really well. And you know, I was okay, but little did I know that they ended up being so good that the next day they won the gold medal also. The race plan here is something that became similar to what I did in the heat when I raced the fellow in the front here, Kopp. In the heat, he went out hard and I slowly reeled him in, and I ended up beating him in the heat the way I was going to race him here in the finals. In the semifinal, I raced Derek Porter, and Derek is always quite a front runner, and this is what my coach had discussed with me, that Zina, look, don't let him go too far. And there you go, you have Porter leading the way the same way he led the way in the semifinal. And so he did not change his racing pattern from the semifinal to the final. The only snag that he hit in the semifinal is that he didn't have enough fight in him to finish the race first. And the journalist on TV said that he let the semifinal go. But a guy like Porter is in it for the absolute, and when I knew that he didn't push in the last 250 to try to beat me, I knew that we had something going that was going to be very effective for the finals. You know, you'll notice that Derek's boat kind of dips a little bit at times. That's one of the things that we really worked very hard with to make sure that the platform in the single scull was always real stable, with an enormous amount of technical drills to make sure that the boat doesn't dip. And you know, there are so many exercises you can do to make sure that the blade goes in when you actually are starting to move your body towards the bow. And that's one of the things that my coaches Harry Mann and Marty Aitken were really good at, is the technique. Because when you compare my body to Derek and Thomas and even Chop, but Chop was lighter than I was. Well, lighter. Everybody was lighter in this race. Every single guy in this race was lighter and taller. So I had 2 strikes against me. The only thing that really worked for me was the consistent training that we had and the technique. I weighed in about 99 kilograms here, and here we're at the 1,000 meter mark. 99 kilograms is good technique. You'll go. You can have a really good race with good technique. Derek was not quite 100 kilograms and a lot taller, and Lange is quite a bit taller, still quite a bit taller than me, shorter than Porter, but definitely lighter than what I was. There's strategy in a race, and I certainly followed my strategy, knowing exactly where I was in the race. One of the things that Chop in the forefront is really good at, he always raced really consistently. He was the world champion the year before, and so I knew I was going to pace with Chop, and he was a good fighter until the end of the first half. And my coach Marty said, Zeno, listen, don't let Porter and Thomas go too far, because it'll be really hard to reel them in. And so when he saw the gap here between my idol Thomas, I salute you, Thomas, you're the man, he was a little worried here. I sat in my boat, stuck to my guns, and went through the what I trained, and that was to just keep on pushing and hanging, setting the blades where I reach to, and be consistent with the pushes. And I started hearing Thomas on the left-hand side, and I knew I was getting a little closer here. So here we go into the last 500 meters, and I count my strokes, so I knew how many strokes I was from the finish line. And when you're here, you don't really know. You don't hear the people in the background. On the video here, you hear it. But what was really important here is to keep the flow going. We did a lot of exercises with flow, hand flow, making sure that the acceleration is consistent. And as I'm getting closer to these little red buoys in the background, we trained the last sprint very consistently, so that the last sprint, and here I kicked it into gear, the last sprint was something that had to come instinctively. And the entire week was great. It wasn't too hot, by the way. Everybody feared the heat in Georgia, but there were thunderstorms and things cooled down. Here you would think that I know I was going to win, but that's not the case. I was pulling for my life here because I didn't want to get caught. My mom was one of the people at the very beginning of this. She's right around, where's my mother? Here, she's jumping up and down there with her arms going up and down. Even here, I wasn't going to stop until I hear the horn, okay? So this is the Olympic record, still standing at 6:44.85. I immediately thought of my dad, who passed away 4 years earlier. And I kissed to the sky as a symbol for him. Sitting here, everything was really calm in my head because it was such a relief to finally have beaten my demons. And the demons were that you're training so hard, and one day you have to be able to be at the top. And it didn't work in the '94 World Championship. It didn't work in the '95 World Championship. And here, Thomas hugs me. He's a good guy. I invited him for a training camp in 2004, and he's a very kind man, super smart. It's unreal to be standing on the dock there and to receive the medals. And one of the things that was unbelievable is that I had never heard the Swiss anthem before, and so they were going to raise the flag, and of course the song the melody that was going to come with the flag was for sure was the Swiss anthem. The other thing that was pretty funny is that, there was the anthem, and I put my hand on my chest like a real patriot. And the Swiss, they don't do that, but in the United States, of course, you do that. And so I was quite Americanized by the time '96 rolled around. As a matter of fact, every Olympic participation that I had was in the United States. I trained from the United States. And I turned around and I saluted the people across the way, because there were some people that I hadn't seen in a decade. And somehow they made it to the Olympics, and they watched me race, and they said, "Zeno, do you remember us?" And then, of course, I started bawling immediately when I recognized them. And then I was laughing again. And it was very emotional. You know, it's very emotional, especially because my dad had passed away 4 years earlier, and he didn't get to see this. You know, he passed away of cancer. And here you see a little bit the size. You know, you'd think Derek would be heavier than I am, but I think I may have been 3 or 4 kilograms heavier. You know, you'd think 3 or 4 kilograms may not be that much, but when you try to be the absolute fastest possible, a little bit of weight will define whether you're going to win or lose. Thomas was the guy that was unbeatable, and it was in 1993 when Porter won the World Championship against him that I walked up to Derek and I said to Derek, you know, I'm really amazed. You know, congratulations, Derek. You beat Thomas, because no one could beat Thomas Lange. Okay, and instead of acknowledging my presence as somebody who didn't do so well in the '93 World Championship, Derek kind of brushed me off, and I felt so dejected, and I was like, you know, here's the anthem. I was so mad that he couldn't at least say, "Oh, thank you very much for your congratulations" or congratulatory words, but he just kept on walking, Porter. And so he helped. I got mad in '93. So that was coupled with my effort to winning and training. I have to thank my competitors. Some of the competitors really lit a greater fire under me, and here I am standing as the person who has won. I looked all week at medal ceremonies on television, and you would see athletes look around when the anthem was being played, and I thought, man, if this is your one opportunity to focus on your flag, you better look at the flag. And so this is why I'm really looking at the flag, because I thought if I have the opportunity to do it, I'm going to be very careful how I look at it, you know. So that's the story. There's so much more to tell. I do a lot of coaching, and I can help a great deal. And look, here is something before 15 minutes are over. Before I was getting the medal, I went to see my mom and my future wife, Erin. This is my sister. And this is Steve Morris, my good friend, who came out with me on the coaching launch to make sure I wasn't going to mow anybody down, trying to go my best. Here's my mom. She's extremely volcanic. She is extremely proud, extremely emotional. Here's my beautiful wife, who I met in April of that year, and a month after this we got married. And she, you know, she had to deal with my mother. My mother was so passionate, she's crazy. You know, and here I'm shaking my shoulders because I felt a little dizzy, probably the nerves. And then we've got some funny 35 seconds left here. My mom's going to take off running and jumping up and down to make sure that her energy flows into me for the last bit of the races here. So we've got 20 seconds. And earlier it brought me to tears. I'm going to have to quit at 15 minutes because I cannot load anything up that's any longer than 15 minutes. So if you guys ever want to see more, then let me know. Alright, over and out, guys.